time we could have been friends.
What a nice moment between Madonna and Kylie on stage last night. Yeah, I was really blown away. I mean, it was really, really nice to see them both on stage, and they sang well together, and I loved I Will Survive acoustic. Kylie was really feeling the stage. She really was. She felt comfortable up there, which she should. I mean, hello, she's been a star for over 3 decades, so yeah, I just want to know your opinion, and I'm sure you will do a podcast on it. I want to be in on it if you do. All right, Mr. Tim, hope all is well.
Well, thank you, David, and to everyone who's been asking, what did you think? What did you think? Wow, welcome to the Time to Talk show. I'm Tim Power, and I am stunned, and goosebumps have not left me for the last 12 hours. I can't stop watching that clip of these two remarkable women on stage together. It's hard to describe what a mindfuck this is, okay? For people like me who followed both of these women for so long, and couple that with the fact that we've never seen them together. Never seen them together. And we know their careers so well. We know their personalities so well. We know their styles so well. I'm still comprehending watching them together and how those two styles and those two women and those two talents interacted with each other so cosmically, so beautifully, so much better than I ever could have imagined. So you'll have to forgive me. I am literally quite numb. This is a lot more unexpectedly brilliant and important in my world and in the world of pop culture than I think I even knew. So we all suspected it. We all wanted this to happen, right? But now that it has, it's given what Kylie has gone through with breast cancer and the resurgence in her career and the ups and the downs, and frankly the grief that I feel about Madonna, even though I still love her, but you know, the artificial hip and where she's at in her career, this couldn't have come at a better time. The universe really does take care of things, doesn't it? Okay, so let's take this blow by blow. Before we even start on this moment, has Madonna ever brought someone up to sing with her on stage? You know, in isolation from those other celebrity parts of the show where dancers jiggle in their faces or make crude jokes. I'm talking besides that. Is this the first time Madonna has ever done this? I was going back through the memory banks. The only time I can think of is when she brought the South Korean guy to do Gangnam Style, and that was more of a novelty, right? Now, I've said for the longest time that Kylie wouldn't and shouldn't participate in any of Madonna's banana antics. It's just not her style. So how do you think this was negotiated? I can't help but think about this. Did Kylie's people say to Madonna's people, yeah, look, we want to do this, but she's not coming up for that sequence. She's not coming up to have bare bottoms, bananas, or spanking happen. I actually think, even though that sounds a little bit comical, I think it must have happened. They must have said, yep, we're up for this. Kylie's camp must have said, we want to do it. But no, we're not doing that. All right, so now let's get to the moment. Madonna says, on the subject of survival, I'd like to introduce Kylie Minogue. And do you agree that Madonna looks authentically blown away by the response? Remember, this is a woman who has brought many, many legends up on the stage. But Madonna's face said it all. She looked blown away. And when Kylie climbs onto that stage and they embrace, I can't even. 40 years of following them both and admiring them both. The sincerity in that embrace. Everything. And then this mind-blowing moment, so un-Madonna. She actually says it's a privilege to be on the stage with Kylie. Just let that sink in, my friends. I was stunned. This is not Madonna's style. She doesn't say things like that unless she perceives that colleague as a legend. Think about it. When has Madonna ever said it's a privilege? She's said it about Prince. She's said it about Michael Jackson. She gushes about both of them, but she does not gush about the younger stars. Yes, she loves them, but she doesn't gush about them. And as soon as she uttered those words, it really did set the scene for what we were about to witness. This was a Madonna moment where the fellow star was not openly and visibly in awe of Madonna. They looked and felt like genuine equals. Two women who admired each other but were on equal footing. Both secure in their celebrity. There was none of this bowing down to Madonna or, those looks that those other stars get on their face when on the stage with Madonna, almost fake, looking around, holding their cheeks. Oh my God, I'm with Madonna, oh my God. None of that here. Nor was it required. Just two remarkable women. Equals. And what do you think? Did they look protective of each other to you? There was all this unspoken, what they've both been through, what they both know about being a female in pop, an enduring pop artist. It was all there. And then we have Kylie talking to the crowd like they were equally hers, and not in an arrogant way, but she knows that this is her tribe. Madonna and Kylie fans, these were her people, and she was going to talk to them. How are you feeling? A classic Kylie saying, usually after the opening track of a concert. How are you all feeling? How are you all feeling tonight? And there she offered the same question at a Madonna concert on Madonna's stage. I loved watching Kylie watch as Madonna demanded the crowd turn their phone lights on. Because you've all been to a Kylie concert, right? If Kylie asks you to turn on your phones, she sort of does it as a suggestion. Madonna does it as a demand. And then they start singing, and it's truly beautiful. And I honestly think that Madonna was really enjoying Kylie's expression as she sang. Didn't she even say, "Oh baby, hit that note"? And after the first chorus, there was a quirky little moment when Kylie did her thing. She often pauses. This is a real Kylie trait. She pauses the song, and then she sort of gestures, "Come on, scream, scream." But with a nod, Madonna kind of said, "No, Kylie, start the second verse." And look, I've watched this so many times now, I have a feeling that there was a very behind-the-scenes time constraint happening. I don't know if you're sensing this too. If you watch it enough times, particularly at the end, when La Isla Bonita starts and she's like, we're out of time. I think that there was a time issue here. So I do believe that firm nod was in no way a come on, crack on with it, Kylie. I think it was Madonna was aware that there was time constraints here. And when Madonna nodded, as if to say start the second verse, Kylie did obey. But knowing Kylie, she would normally have milked that pause for all it was worth. She honestly would have, but Madonna said no. And then Madonna couldn't resist a MF moment. Did you notice? In the middle of the song. Poor Kylie. And then we got yet another beautiful moment where Madonna asks Kylie, "Did you think I'd crumble?" "Not for a second," said Kylie. And then we got a little bit of Kylie's Marilyn Monroe. "No." Jesus, the chemistry between these two. Madonna firm and in control, and Kylie all girlish, unable to contain her physicality, as usual, twirling, gesturing. This was mind-blowing. And what about that harmony? Lay down and die. Wow. Kylie tried to start a crowd tap with her foot, but like a downing plane, she lifted out of that tailspin pretty quickly. And when I Will Survive finished, it's Kylie who encourages the crowd to applaud. Again, equals. Then they move into Can't Get You Out of My Head, and Madonna couldn't resist humping our Kylie. But Kylie, she just handles it with aplomb. Yeah, that's your thing, Madonna, that's your shtick. And the final embrace, honestly, again, it looks so equal and so beautiful. These two women could be friends. I don't think they could have been earlier in life, to be honest. But now that Madonna is more humble and frankly more vulnerable, and Kylie is such an advocate who really cares, and she's a firm ally of her peers, I think Kylie, more than most, would understand Madonna's stage in life and career. There's no question that this is going to lead to a collaboration. In fact, is it possible that it's already been recorded? But I also think that this is going to lead to a lifelong friendship. I really do. I couldn't see it before, but that performance was so real. It was one of the most real moments I've ever seen in pop music. As a fan, I am floored. I'm actually speaking to you with my microphone in my hand in the fetal position. God, I hope the collaboration is an original, not a remake. And I actually think something tender is in order. After seeing this, a ballad, believe it or not, for these two may be the way to go. Or possibly something like Enough Is Enough that starts ballad style and becomes dance. Either way, they must work together. Is it possible that they've already recorded I Will Survive for the Tension re-release? That performance was pretty polished vocally, wasn't it? Did you think? Maybe. I'm putting it out there. There's a conspiracy theory. I am so grateful for this moment in pop culture. And now it's time to talk back. Time to talk back. You're on the air. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, Tim, how are you doing?
I'm opening up the phone lines for people to feedback about Madonna and Kylie. Did you see it?
Oh my God, I think I was in shock. It's like it finally happened. Rumors finally paid off. It was true. And I saw a Kylie shirt. It says Madonna because obviously Kylie had the Madonna shirt before, or Madonna had the Kylie shirt in her concerts before. And now Kylie, returned the favor. I noticed that right away. And like, wow, that was just amazing.
Because people saw her in the audience, didn't they? They saw her in the audience talking to Lenny Kravitz's son. No, Lenny Kravitz himself, right?
I was surprised it finally happened because everybody's been speculating Kylie's going to Vegas, or Madonna's going to, her stuff's right there, and Kylie has a residency there. What if they collided finally officially? And it did happen. We're waiting patiently. God, she didn't make it. She didn't go. And I wasn't even expecting it. Bam, Facebook, breaking news. There it was. I hope they, maybe do a collaboration or something. That's what everybody's hinting.
Did you sense the chemistry like I did?
Yeah, they look like, they sounded great together and they look happy together.
See you, buddy.
All right, have a good one, Tim.
You too.
First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But I spent so many nights just thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. Go on and go, walk out the door, just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me? Wave goodbye, did you think I'd fall? Did you? No, I didn't. Officer, you didn't? No. Of course not. Did you think that you lay down and die? Oh, no, I will survive. Just as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. 'Cause I've got all this life to live, and I've got all this love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and a lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners.
Well, to describe my next guest as a super fan of pop culture would be an understatement. Stephen Foster has travelled the world in pursuit of music and euphoria. He is a mega fan of so many celebrities, and along the way he's collected a raft of photographs with people like Madonna, Janet Jackson, Gloria Estefan, Kylie Minogue, Cher, Cyndi Lauper, and I could honestly go on and on and on. You're not going to believe some of the stories that this guy has to tell. Stephen, welcome to Time to Talk.
G'day, how are you?
It's great to hear you. It must be quite the lifestyle you lead, Stephen, kind of it's what I call following the cool flame of celebrity wherever it happens to lead you.
I don't know if I call it a lifestyle. It's actually quite exhausting. But it's,
Really?
yeah, it is. I mean, because, I can't remember. I think it's like 10 years since I last had a proper holiday. When, you travel to concerts and stuff, it's very much airports, concert venues, and airports again. It can be quite exhausting, but it's fun. It's really good fun.
I completely admire it, though. I really do. The dedication that you put into this, and obviously you take a lot out of it too. The reason you and I connected is because this is honest, hand on heart, the truth. I started to recognize you, Stephen. I could see you, and it was confusing to me because often, as a huge pop culture fan myself, I'll notice the same person with the same star. But with you, I started to cross-reference these to go, hang on a second, I've seen you in the, I'm not just talking photographs, I'm talking about videos of little concerts and bigger concerts, and I kept seeing you pop up, and I'm thinking, wow, this guy's probably like me. He must chase pop culture rather than just one artist, which is amazing. So anyway, look, at the end of the day, today what we decided is that you're going to take us through your top 5 photographs of meeting different celebrities, because we thought that was going to be rather fun. And I've got to say, what a treasure trove, and it was really hard for you to select, wasn't it?
It was, because there are other people who were left out that I really love, admire, and respect to. I mean, since I think my 3rd birthday, I bought my first record. Music has kind of really been in my DNA and my bloodstream.
Let's be devilish. Who do you love that is now on the chopping floor that we're not talking about today? Who do you love and feel really guilty about?
Well, there's Annie Lennox. I don't think I...
Oh, no.
Yeah, so Annie Lennox is a major love in Eurythmics. I've been fortunate to meet her twice. Mariah Carey, who I know that she's a bit like Marmite. She divides opinions, but I think she's a genius, and she's very underrated for her songwriting abilities.
A very tough job for you there, putting some of those to the side. But look, start us off with the big one, Madonna. You've met Madonna, and the photo that you've got. I know that you've got a few, but I mean, my goodness, amazing! Like, gives me goosebumps to look at it. Gets me curious as well. Tell us about meeting Madonna.
So the meeting Madonna, it was kind of by good fortune, essentially. Madonna was holding a charity event, and Madonna's notorious that she doesn't interact with fans on a very localized level. But there was an opportunity. She was holding a charity event in Miami in December 2016, and it was an auction for her charity, Raising Malawi, to open an orthopedics hospital in
This is the one
Malawi.
that Sean Penn attended, right?
He did, and their chemistry was quite infatuating, actually. I thought they're getting back together. They were extremely close. So, yeah, it was a major night, but we had an opportunity. The, the way that was promoted was, you bought a table. 4 people out of the table of 10 could have a photograph with Madonna. So we said,
How much was the table, Stephen?
honestly, it was 250,000 US dollars. So,
OMG. I expected
yeah.
to hear something unbelievable, but I, honest to God, did not expect to hear that. I mean, I have to ask, Stephen, and I'm really sorry that it's rude, but how? How did you do it? Most of us listening could not.
Well, to be brutally frank, it's only because I had been saving my entire life for almost, rainy days. And this came up, and I spoke with people who are close to me, and they were like, you're never going to have an opportunity like this again. Do it. And so it kind of, having that support and encouragement from friends and family, I just said, you know what, this could may never happen again. And it would be such a thrill, 'cause, the first concert I ever left my country for was to see Madonna in 1993 in London. And she's been a major part of my life. So yeah, so there were 10 of us at the table, 4 of us who were having the picture. We paid a little bit more, but it was divided out. So yeah, it was still a lot of money, no question, but it was going to charity. So in that regard, I felt, there was something good in it. But it was quite an intimidating evening because you had people like Leonardo DiCaprio there, Paris Hilton, David Blaine, Ariana Grande, Sean Penn, who you've mentioned, Courtney Love, Chris Rock. And Madonna was auctioning off items which were eye-watering. I mean, in this room of, 400 people, the money that must have been there. So me and my friends, we were very insignificant. And the things that Madonna was auctioning off, were selling for eye-watering amounts of money. We're talking $700,000. The auction was something else. She was bringing Ariana Grande on stage wearing a dress she wore in the Rebel Heart tour with Sean Penn. She badgered him into buying for $160,000. She made her own manager buy 2 of her personal portraits by different artists for an obscene amount of money. So she has a very persuasive influence, and she actually convinced me into buying something from her too. So
you bought something on top of everything else?
Yeah, I did. I bought a chair from her that she had used on the Rebel Heart tour.
You bought a chair?
Yeah, it's all over the internet. So, and we didn't know it was being videoed actually that evening. So it was the next morning waking up, and I had over 700 notifications on my Facebook. And I was like, what's going on? And I had a text from my sister, which was basically, what the blankety blank have you bloody done? And I was like, what's going on? And so then I realized, okay, this has been streamed on Facebook. And so you said about, which was very kind of you to say that you recognize me, but from that, I've been recognized a lot by people, which is kind of
Where's
weird.
the chair now?
It's literally beside me.
My God, Stephen, you're blowing my mind here. You're killing me.
Well, it was just bizarre. So, so the evening, having met her, and then, I said to Madonna, I'll buy this from you if you give me a kiss. And she gave me a kiss and stuff, and that was all great. But after that, there was so much adrenaline, I got extremely drunk. So I don't remember the end of the evening. I remember the show, but the end of the evening, winding up, and only my friend who came with me, we were sharing a room, had brought the chair back with me. I would have left it at the venue. That's the whole irony. But, this is where you realize Madonna's a shrewd person, because, literally within 15 seconds of the scene happening, I had a tap on my shoulder asking for my credit card details.
Oh, my God.
She doesn't miss a beat. But it was an amazing experience, and the photographs just alone of that. And actually, to me, they're more special than the official photograph that I had. But it was just an amazing evening. It was phenomenal. Money can't buy it as such. Money did buy it, but, it's never going to be repeated. And, so I'll never have a regret with that one. I really won't.
Regrets. Wow.
Absolutely no regrets, to quote Madonna. No.
Stephen, I saw in that photo, one of the photos at least, because you've got a few with Madonna. It looks like one of those typical moments where people queue and you're brought in and you get your snap with Madonna. I'm just going to be honest with you. It looks like she's folding her arms. She doesn't look particularly pleased to be doing it. Not necessarily with you, but maybe the whole thing.
No. But we have a video of it. So basically, I was the fourth person to meet her, and she was trying to find her groove. So if you watch the video, actually, you can see that she's just starting to play around with her body to get into a comfortable mode. And the people who were before me are actually three of my friends, and her body language was a little bit more stiff. So it wasn't that she was uncomfortable as such. It's just because she doesn't do it that often. I think that's what it was.
Can I ask, are there rules? Because sometimes I watch YouTube videos of people who did what you did, not with Madonna necessarily, but any star. And there are often rules about what you can and can't do when you stride across the floor. What were the rules here?
Absolutely zero.
You're joking. They didn't say don't touch her, don't look her in the eye.
No, oh gosh, no, none of that whatsoever. I mean, this was Madonna's charity event. It was a big deal. So, I think in many regards she had to be as charming as she can possibly be, because she does struggle to build rapport, but it was very quick though. I mean, the meeting was 30 seconds, so it's very, very hard to gauge. There was maybe a bit more of it was less fans. It was more people in the arts and the industry, big philanthropists. So I don't think there was as much of a concern. In fact, myself and my three friends, we were the only fans who were there. And we had been quite strictly vetted before with Madonna's manager. He knew who we all were and stuff. So I think that gave them a level of comfort. They knew that we weren't psychotic stalkers. We just genuinely appreciated her. And we wanted to do something nice too.
You're standing that close to Madonna. Can you give us a sense about what she looked like and how it felt to be near her? Because we see her as larger than life on the TV.
Yeah.
What's she like up close?
That is the thing, because even being at concerts and seeing her, even in the front row, she is very petite. She's very small, but even more up close, she's got very soft eyes, very soft skin, but is incredibly small. I mean, I'm not a small guy, so her beside me, she looks even smaller, but very petite, but yet has just this enormous presence. And people talk about that, and you hear about people talking about certain icons or celebrities just being there in the room. You know that they're there. With Madonna, when she arrived in that room, you knew that Madonna was present. She does portray herself as being very cold, very hard, quote unquote, a bitch, but yet she does all these things for charity. My concern, or I guess what I'm anticipating is that it'll be whenever she leaves this earth, only then will people begin to realize just how much value she added, not just to the arts, but to society.
Tell us about meeting Pat Benatar.
Meeting Pat was just a dream. I mean, I've been a fan of Pat since the early 80s. Pat hasn't toured the UK since 83, and that was only in London. So I had never had a chance to see her. And it was in 2015. Some stuff had happened, and I had a conversation with my mum, and she was saying, what are some of the things that you still want in life? And I was like, it's to meet Pat Benatar and to see her in concert. So I went to Washington DC to see her, and it was just an amazing meeting. It was about 10 minutes with her privately in her dressing room. She was very engaging, and from that, actually, I've been to see Pat about 8 or 9 times now, but I go for free as her guest.
You go for free?
Last year in Vegas. I mean, she just was quite astounded, that, outside of the United States, which is her chief territory, I know she has some popularity in Australia and New Zealand, but, she was never massive in the UK, so it was kind of a big deal for her, but it was more of a big deal for me because I thought, this is never going to happen, and she is actually my favorite albums artist in the world. I mean, nobody makes better albums, more consistent albums than Pat. I mean,
and if a picture can tell 1,000 words, then there is a great warmth in the photo between yourself and Pat. And what do you mean that you now go for free? Does she consider you a friend?
Yes. Well, friendly. But yeah, so it was, I went back then the following year, and her assistant, who's friends with me on Facebook, Erin, She said, look, that's it. You come as our guest from here on in. And after that meet and greet, Pat said, I love you, and all this really bizarre
My
things that you don't
goodness.
expect to hear. And yeah, and like
She
last
loved
year,
you.
so I saw 2 shows in Vegas as her guest. A couple of more times in New Jersey and Staten Island and stuff. So she's very nice. And, on Facebook, if I make comments, she'll reply to me quite often.
That is
Um,
amazing. Congratulations on forging a friendship with Pat Benatar. I got to ask, what do you make of her? Again, taking on board that, you haven't spent a whole stack of time, but what type of
no,
person is Pat?
she's very humble. And I think that was kind of the disarming thing. I'm like, you've won 4 Grammys. You're recognized as one of the biggest pioneers in rock, let alone being a female in rock. But yet, having conversations with her, she's very soft spoken, uh, but very cheerful, um, very tactile as well, just extremely friendly. And she wants to know about you. I had some ill health, which she had found out about, not through me. And she contacted me. And it was like, what's going on here? And so when I saw her last year in Vegas, she actually shared some stories with me too about her health. And I was like, you don't know me well enough. I could be giving this stuff away to the media for all that you know. Not that I would do that, but she's very trusting. But yeah, just a lovely, lovely, lovely person. And growing up in Northern Ireland as a kid, watching these artists on MTV music videos and stuff, the thought of even seeing some of these people was just alien. It was completely alien, and very few artists back when I was growing up came to Ireland because of our political troubles. So you kind of put them on a pedestal, but then to meet them and to realize how human they are, it's a very warming thing.
How many times did you meet Janet Jackson, Stephen?
So Janet, I have met 6 times throughout the years, twice in the 90s, and then 4 times last year, actually, in Vegas. She did her residency.
How do you get the opportunity to go up and get photos with someone like Janet Jackson? How did it come about?
Well, the first 2 meetings were actually, it was her. The first meeting was I went to see her in France. It was my first time seeing her, actually, and I met her boyfriend. It was actually her husband, but we didn't know at the time. Rene in the crowd, and I went and spoke to him, and he brought me backstage to meet her. And that was completely unexpected. There was no design involved. The second time it was the Velvet Rope album launch in London. I got invited from the fan club to go, and I got to meet her. Again, there was no cost involved in that. Um, but last year with Vegas, it was meet and greet. You had to purchase a meet and greet. I mean, she's been very unavailable, particularly since she's become a mother. And by the last meeting, she knew me by name, which was again very very nice. So she pays attention.
Oh, that is amazing. And what's she like? What's Janet like?
Very soft spoken. Um, Again, very very humble. So she's got very very shy body language, but yet again, when she's in front of the camera, she has that smile. She knows how to work it. She's a pro, but no, extremely humble, very soft spoken, and actually sometimes you did have to lean it a little bit just to hear what she was saying.
Wow. What does Janet look like up close? Again, like I think she's larger than life on TV, the type of art that she makes. What's she like in the flesh?
Extremely petite. She had very big hair. Obviously, not her real hair, but it kind of made her look even smaller, but very, very tiny. And she was wearing, in all the meet and greet, she was wearing very relaxed clothes. So it kind of like didn't just show off how tiny she was, but when you watched her in the room, because those meet and greets were nice, because normally in a meet and greet situation, I don't know if you've ever done one, but you're kind of ushered in a queue and ushered out again. But with Janet's meet and greets, it was all the people in a room. You went up, had your picture, then people stood back and watched. So you were actually able to watch a lot of the interactions and just, it kind of, put into your mind what she was like as a person, how she behaved and stuff beyond yourself. But yeah, I mean, unbelievably attractive, unbelievably attractive. I'd say she's one of the most attractive people in the world.
So, Stephen, we're going to talk about Gloria, Estefan, and Kylie in a moment. But what do you get out of doing this? You obviously you do a lot of traveling to meet these celebrities. What is it that you take as a person from meeting people with these sorts of auras?
I travel to see the concerts because, I'm not a materialistic kind of person. I lost my parents both at very young ages. And um, I think just my learning life is around, life is very short. You want to have experiences that matter. And because
Mm.
music's so important to me, going to see concerts, it gives me that joy. And I'm doing it with friends. And also I'm seeing the world. So that's kind of like my motivation. So, there's a bit of travel, a bit of culture involved, but
Yeah.
spending it with people who matter to me, it's probably as important as seeing the artist. But
Isn't that amazing? So that the music and the experience is equally, if not more so, important than meeting the artists.
oh, completely, completely. The meeting the artist is a plus, but going and enjoying those songs, that are soundtracks to your life.
Yeah.
But sharing it with people who have maybe had similar experiences, have had those things. There's something very beautiful in it for me. It's emotional.
You're talking to someone who really gets it. A lot of people don't, Stephen, but I get it. I get that pop culture and they're
Mhm.
markers to your life. It's emotional. And most of all, it's uplifting and euphoric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree. Euphoria is one of my favorite words to use because it just summarizes it all. And music to me is like an oral photograph, and it gives me the feelings, the emotions, etc., the time that I was, as much as a photograph would.
Let's talk about Gloria Estefan. I love the photo that you have. I'm sure you've got more than one, but the one that I particularly enjoy is there is such a story to this photograph, and she clearly is engaged with you, and there's something very warm about it. Tell us about meeting Gloria.
Yeah. So I mean, I've met Gloria, I'm sure, about 20 times now throughout the years. She
She
follows me
knows
on
your name.
Twitter. We message sometimes on Twitter. My love of Gloria. I remember Bad Boy and Hot Summer Nights, but her uh, a tour was shown on television in 1988. It was her Let It Loose tour in Miami, and I recorded it more out of instinct. I'd heard some of her songs on American radio chart shows, but she hadn't had many hits in the UK at that point. And I recorded it, and I just became obsessed with the show.
Like a
I thought it was
magnet.
the most magnificent live show I'd seen until that point, and it probably is one of my favorite shows still to this day. And I just loved the music, the fusion of Latin with pop. Again, a very warm person, a very caring person. And the first time I saw her then was in 1991. I saw two shows in Dublin. I cried after, thinking I'm not going to see her again. I'd never had that emotion after a concert before. And there's just something about her music that just I can't describe it. I really can't describe it. And I would say in my top 10 albums of all time, two of them are Gloria's.
And
Um,
how good is her latest album, by the way?
yeah, I
Incredible.
mean it's on a loop.
Stephen, tell us about the photo. What was going on in that? It looks like you're deep in a conversation.
Which photo did I send you? Is it us pointing at each other? Was that the one?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that was at the Royal Albert Hall in 2013. And so essentially, her fan club is called Conga. And, there's about 100 members in it. It's not like a massive fan club, but everybody's well known. And I would say about 50 of them were attending the event in the Royal Albert Hall. So we had a T-shirt made, which I had designed. And so when she met me, I was wearing the T-shirt, and she was like, "Oh, I really like the T-shirt." I was like, "I did that," and so my friend captured that moment.
Oh, isn't that cool?
That was really cool. It's like, oh my, because it was like, oh, how nice of you to notice the T-shirt because you're meeting so many people and they're wearing it in different shapes and forms. But yeah, she's very in touch with what's going on. She really watches her audience and stuff. She senses a lot of things, and like she does. She kind of follows the communities online, and she can talk about stuff that we've been talking about. So she's very savvy.
It would appear quite a tactile person too, Stephen, in terms of like
Oh.
it's. I would have thought it would be quite rare for a star to let you cuddle up to them, and it's quite intimate. This is not forced at all. It's a very intimate photo, actually. You're on friendly terms with her.
Very friendly terms. I mean, there's some crazier ones than me. I mean, because, she'll have a drink with us and stuff. And sometimes, people will get merry and they'll pick her up and carry her around. And she's like kind of happy to do it. I don't think I could go
What?
that far with her. Yeah. I mean, it's like,
You wouldn't be able to do that with Madonna.
you'd be gunned down, wouldn't you? I think you'd be in a cell. No, that's definitely not. No, she works on a different level. And it's, it's very inspiring because, I think, commercially and successfully, she would be on a par with Madonna, if not more, because she owns the rights to all her songs and stuff. She's, so she's a very clever business lady, but she's just so down to earth with it. And I think that's what people are endeared to her. I mean, I wish she was more active as an artist because I think she could still be having bigger levels of success, but she doesn't want that, or she doesn't feel the need for that anymore. She just wants to work at a different level.
So, Stephen, I've saved my favourite for last. I deliberately did that. I love the fact that you're hunched down quite significantly to take the photo that we have of you and Kylie Minogue. Tell us about meeting Kylie.
She's so diminutive, isn't she? Actually, so what was really lovely, the meeting with Madonna. So several weeks before I met Cher, and the day after I came home from meeting Madonna, I met Kylie again at the Royal Albert Hall and had a picture with her. So that was quite a couple of weeks. But, Kylie, again, I've been a fan since '88. Traveled the world. I went to Melbourne for a weekend to see her on the Anti-Tour. There's just something about her that I guess I can't shake. She just gives you a certain feeling, a sense of euphoria, again, to not to overcook that word, whereby she's the consummate artist, but she gives you something new each time that she creates a project. And her stage shows, I mean, there are very few artists like her who can stage a show and bring so many different types of people together. It's kind of mind-blowing. I mean, I'll always be a PWL guy. That's where my heart is. But, there isn't an era or a project that she's done that I've gone, everything is so enjoyable.
What does she look like up close? What does she smell like? What does she say to you? Does she have an aura? I keep hearing that she's quite a presence, which a lot of celebrities do, but I've heard that, Kylie has a particularly strong star quality.
She has a complete star quality. I think actually after Madonna, I mean, she has that, it's like, I'm Madonna, or I'm Cher, I'm Kylie. It's that, and she's in the room. It's quite electric. It really is electric. Yeah. But, she knows how to ham it up. And, people have said in the media, well, how sincere is she? I do think she is sincere, but I know she's sincere, but she does have a little bit of a guard. And I guess, you don't make it this far in your career without having some guards up because, she's been through a lot. She's been vilified at times and she's pulled herself back. So she has to be, I guess, cautious about who she talks to and the way that she talks. So you do feel that. But, anytime that, you chat to her, the last time was nice, actually. She said, look, I know who you are. You're Steve, isn't that right? So I don't know how prepped she was for that, but she does know who her I guess, her regular fans are. And that was really disarming because I thought, with Gloria, it's fine because we interact and with Pat, but for Kylie to have said that, it was really something else. It really, really was. And I all I could say was, I hope it's for the right reasons. And it feels nice because,
Stephen,
it's like, yes.
I have to ask this, and I mean it with the most respect possible. Is it possible, do you ever get the sense that some of the stars, if they see you keep popping up over and over, that they get alarmed by that? Because there's a line, isn't there, between being a fan and a stalker? And I'm not suggesting for a moment you're a stalker. I can clearly hear what you get out of this. But do you think that people like Kylie have a big team around them, that they identify you and just make sure you're safe?
If they didn't, I would be surprised. Absolutely. You know, they should, but Sean, her manager, he's always very, very gracious and stuff. I think they know, yes, if you see regular people in the front row, I would never go to her hotel. I would never go to her home. You know, I respect the boundaries. So when I have these opportunities, they're in public or they're organized. So I would never overstep that mark. And some people do. Some people do. And, you know, it's not for me to judge them or their motivation. But which is why I said, when Kylie said, "I know who you are," I said, "I hope it's for the right reasons," because I would back off if I thought that any artist thought that, because I would never want to make somebody feel that way. I just want to show support and appreciation.
And love. Absolutely. Have you ever had a bad experience with a superstar?
I've had a couple.
Go on.
One was in 1996. I met Belinda Carlisle. She came to a television show in Northern Ireland and she'd just flown in for it. And my friend and I went down, and I think we were the only fans there to meet her. And, you know, we were in the audience and we waited for her outside. And I mean, she just basically snarled at us.
What do you mean by snarled at? What did she actually do?
When we asked for an autograph, she was like, "Okay." And basically just, you know, really hard sign that she tore with the pen into the cover. You know,
Wow.
So you could tell it wasn't a good day for her.
And the other experience you were going to say?
Well, there have been a few. Cyndi Lauper, once she was very off. It wasn't me, but there were people around trying to take photographs, and you know, she stormed off, and I don't blame her actually, because you know they'd requested in advance if she was coming out to do autographs, don't take photos, but some fans just didn't, you know, respect the request. And, you know, when that happens, you know, of course, you know, you're going to get irate and stuff.
But is that a reasonable request though, Stephen? No photographs, really? You're Cyndi Lauper. Can you actually request that of fans? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, I think she'd had a little bit of a chemical peel. So her skin looking porcelain. For want of that's my interpretation. Looking at her, I could be wrong. So, but I think that's what it was. You know.
It's an amazing life you lead, Stephen. I'm just captivated listening to you about all these stories, and you get, as human beings, we can pick up a sense about who people are. That's what we're programmed to do in quite a short space of time. We're not always right, absolutely not, but you certainly have had the up close and personal encounters, haven't you?
No, it's been very nice to talk to you, and you know, as I say, you know, I think, you know, for many people, they don't understand music, and I get that. But for people who do, it's like, you know, embrace what you feel and enjoy it, because, you know, we only get one crack at this. So,
absolutely. Good on you, Stephen. You have a fantastic day.